Yo, what's going on out there in YouTube land? What is happening, good people? You are now tuned in to another dope video here at No BS Allowed TV, the place where we discuss truth, life, love, and all dope things in between. I am your host, that guy, King P, aka Big Game James, aka Pastor Offering, aka The Ice Nine, aka the reason why you are here, also known as the heavyweight champ of common sense. And also got a new moniker. You can call me Mr. Midnight. That being said, to all my returning subscribers, salute. And if you are new to the channel, come on in, kick your shoes off, relax. You're going to love it here. I promise. Now, you know how we do it. So let's get right into it. And right into it, we shall. No, 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 no. We are not about to have this. This is not about to happen. No. What am I talking about? It's real simple. A year ago, I made a video about the disrespect of Michael Jordan and how it needed to stop. In that video, I mentioned that the reason for that was because the LeMedia, aka Klutch Sports, was pushing an agenda to downgrade Michael Jordan in order to exalt LeBron James. Also in that video, I mentioned how Kobe Bryant was being disrespected in this agenda. Well, the disrespect has gotten way out of hand and it needs to come to an end like immediately, because in this clown show that we call sports media, which is now being controlled by Klutch Sports and all of the cronies of LeBron James, they have decided to stop waging war against Michael Jordan because we, the public, are just not buying it. So what has happened now is they've reversed pivot and they've decided to go after Kobe, because Kobe is an easier target because he's not here to defend himself. Now, the thing about it is, what makes all of this really nefarious is that, and very slimy, is that there are contemporaries of Kobe Bryant, people who said that he was a friend, a mentor, and all of this stuff. They are now on these platforms just spewing the most asinine takes and just a whole bunch of garbage to basically make it out as if Kobe Bryant really wasn't that guy. I'm looking at you, Dwyane Wade. I'm looking at you, Tracy McGrady. I'm going to get to those cats in a minute. But first, we have to really understand why this is happening. As I mentioned, Kobe is a soft target because he's not here to defend himself. Do you honestly think that this would be the case if Kobe was still alive and breathing? Hell no. The thing about it is this. This is desperation. What you are seeing is desperation. The end is coming for LeBron James. Now, we don't want to make this all about LeBron James, but then again, we have to discuss LeBron James, okay? Because again, never in the history of sports has there been somebody who is just so obsessed with where his place in history is, to the point to where he's using other machinations, and he's using other things to he's basically using the media to push a fallacy. No athlete has done that. No athlete has done that. And it's crazy, and it's also just disrespectful. It's disrespectful to all of the players who have played all the great players who have played in the NBA before him, and also the players that are due to come along after him. This is megalomania at its finest. That's all this is. This is a display of megalomania. And if Kobe were here, of course, there will be, of course, he would be able to shoot down a lot of this crap. But then also, these guys wouldn't be talking out the side of their necks because Kobe's here. He would be here. They know better. But again, as I said, Kobe's not here, so they can't get to Michael because the public isn't drinking the Kool-Aid. So now they're saying, okay, well, Kobe wasn't really all that. Dwyane Wade. Dwyane Wade has gone on record as saying that the catalyst for the super team in Miami being formed was Kobe Bryant winning his 5th championship. He called up LeBron and during the beginning of the free agency period back in 2010, for the 2010-2011 season, and basically asked him, okay, well, what is it you're trying to do? What is it you want to do? Basically saying, hey man, look, I need some help. Kobe's winning all these rings. We can't have this. You don't have a ring. I got a ring. Why don't we get together? Form this alliance, if you will, and we can take over the whole NBA. Basically, disrupting the whole balance of power in the NBA, and thus began the era of the super team. And then what's crazy is Dwyane Wade is talking all this stuff about Kobe, when in fact, an interesting tidbit, Dwyane Wade was at that NBA's finals that he said that Kobe Bryant didn't play well in. He was there in attendance in one of the games. The game that one game where Kobe went off for a quarter. It was just killing the Boston Celtics. Dwyane Wade is sitting right there. Dwyane Wade is witnessing greatness right there. But years after Kobe's death, he comes and says, oh, well, Kobe wasn't even the best player in that series. It was Pau Gasol. Man, he needs to be drug tested, all right? He needs to be drug tested. But in all seriousness, it's the same playbook that they use. And when I say they, I'm talking about the LeMedia. It's the same playbook that they use to disrespect Michael Jordan. Basically, attack his legacy, attack everything associated with the player. And you can't do that to Kobe Bryant, just the same way you cannot do that to MJ. Let's put this in, let's break this down. Let's break this down another way. Okay. It's been said that Kobe was basically Mike. He was the closest thing to Mike. Okay, if we talking hip hop terms, we are talking Rakim, we are talking Nas. Okay, Mike is Rakim. Rakim is universally known as basically the GOAT, the God MC. All right. Well, you got Nas. Nas was the second coming of Rakim. Now, that's who Kobe Bryant is. He's like Nas. He's the second coming. Greatness personified. You can't attack that. You can try and you look stupid, and that's exactly what's happening now. These guys are looking stupid. These guys are on these podcasts talking out the side of their necks, acting as if Kobe didn't bust them up when he was when they were playing against him. You got clowns like Gilbert Arenas because Gilbert scored 61 in a game, against Kobe. Now that whole 61 was not on Kobe's head, but still 61 is 61. He's a known Kobe hater. Okay, he always has something slick to say about Kobe. All right, and he's acting as if like he was really that guy when he had his run, he had his short little stint, what have you, but he wasn't Mamba level. Same thing with Tracy McGrady. And here's what I want to say before I go on a little diatribe about Tracy McGrady. We have to stop allowing losers to have opinions about winners. It does not work that way. LeBron got on that stupid podcast of his talking about he doesn't understand the obsession with ring culture. He only said that goofiness because he knows that he's never going to get another ring. He's never going to get another ring. And he knows that in order to be considered the best of the best of the best, your resume has to have the adequate rings. He doesn't have that. He has the stats, he has longevity, he has, all this blah, 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 yakety smackety, but he does not have the rings because at the end of the day, winning is the only thing. Nobody considers Tom Brady the GOAT because he had the best stats. Nobody considers him the GOAT, the best quarterback ever because he has crazy stats. Peyton Manning has crazy stats, but nobody considers him the GOAT. The ring is the thing, and LeBron doesn't have it. So he gets on it. So again, trying to change the narrative because he can't get it. He's not going to get it. Oh, well, I don't understand ring culture. And, you can't tell me that guys like Allen Iverson and Charles Barkley, they aren't great because they don't have rings. And that, man, you don't care about Charles Barkley. You don't care about Allen Iverson. You don't care about Dominique Wilkins. You don't care about Karl Malone, John Stockton, all these great players, Patrick Ewing, all these players that don't have rings, that didn't get rings. No, you don't care anything about them. This is yet another way to put yourself above everyone else, when in fact that's not the case. You cannot fool the people. I mean, you can pull the wool over their eyes a little bit, and those who don't have any common sense, they'll go for it. Those who drank the Kool-Aid, yeah, they'll go for it. But people who really know, hey man, get out of here. And that's exactly what's happening right now. The people are waking up. People have pushed back, and they're just not going for it. And also, they have seen that the king actually has no clothes on. It's supposed to be the emperor, but in this particular case, the king isn't wearing no clothes. All right. Now, getting back to Tracy McGrady. Tracy McGrady, great player, great talent. Was he at Kobe Bryant's level? No. The careers don't match up. There was a time in sports media when they were saying that Kobe Bryant and Tracy McGrady were contemporaries. Kind of like how they did back in the day when they said that Clyde Drexler was comparable to Michael Jordan. However, we know in that particular scenario, those are two great players who were actually going to the finals, competing for championships. Okay, with Kobe and Tracy, it wasn't to that grand a level. It was just saying, okay, well, as far as talent, they might be comparable. That's it. But then Tracy McGrady got injured. Of course, all right, you can't you can't hold injuries against a player. But he fell off. And then also, he wasn't the complete player that Kobe Bryant was. Now, he was great on the offensive end, but Tracy McGrady never made an all defensive team. He never made an all defensive team. He was not known as a defensive stopper or a lockdown defender. Kobe Bryant, for a long time in his career, was known as one of the NBA's premier perimeter defenders. Tracy McGrady does not have that. And Tracy McGrady tried to say that if he played on the Lakers and he played with Shaq, that he would have he would have gotten the amount of rings that Kobe did. That's a lie. That's a lie. And Tracy McGrady needs to be drug tested or something. It makes no sense. These guys act as if we didn't see them play. We weren't witnesses to their careers. Okay, when McGrady was in Houston, he had Yao Ming. Yao Ming, by the way, is a Hall of Famer. Okay, whatever you think of Yao Ming or what have you, or whatever you don't think of Yao Ming was a great player for his time. Okay, he played on the team with Yao Ming. He played on the team that had um that had adequate players. When Kobe Bryant was back, when Kobe Bryant was without Shaq, and Tracy McGrady was doing his thing. By the way, not winning any playoff series or anything of that nature. Kobe was battling with cats. He had teammates like, of course, Smush Parker, guys like that, Luke Walton, cats like that. All right. So yeah, he did have Lamar Odom. He did have Lamar Odom, but we know that as nice as LO is, as LO was, he was more of a complimentary player. Kobe drug a team that didn't have as much talent as the Houston Rockets to the playoffs. And yes, there was a there was playoff series where the Lakers, as a 7th seed, had a 3-1 lead on the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns were the higher seed. The Lakers went up 3-1 on them. They ended up losing that series. That was no fault of Kobe's. There's been no scenario where you can look back on Kobe's career and say, okay, well, he didn't give his all, or he wasn't the best player out there in the playoffs. That means in the finals, what have you. Now, wait a minute. Got to address the elephant in the room. Shaq. A lot of people like to disrespect Kobe because his first 7 to 8 years he played with Shaquille. Okay. Shaq is a force of nature, one of the great ones. Can't take anything away from Shaq. But Kobe by no means was being carried. He was no means he was by no means an innocent bystander. Again, you can go back and you can look at his stats. Go back and check it out. Black Mamba was doing his thing. That first championship run, he averaged 22 in the finals. That second championship run, the second year of the three-peat, he was averaging 28. Same thing for the next year. This guy was carrying his own weight. He was doing his thing. Shaq was doing his thing too. But stop acting as if, okay, it was just all Shaq and Kobe had nothing to do with it. And it's convenient that people want to use Shaq as a means to say, well, Kobe wasn't that great. If you notice, again, same playbook. People who want to try to say Michael wasn't that great will say that, oh, well, it's because he had Scottie. But if you go back and you look at it, if you go back and you really look at things, it wasn't that way. Again, no disrespect to Scottie, no disrespect to Shaq. But no, we're not doing this. We're not doing this at all. Because I have a question to ask you, real simple. What happened when Shaq left the Lakers? How many rings did Kobe get after Shaq left the Lakers? All right, then. Shaq did go to Miami and he got one with D Wade. D Wade was not half the player that Kobe Bryant was. And that's no shame. D Wade, great player. But D Wade is bugging when he's trying to make it out as if Kobe, Kobe being Bryant wasn't the truth and nothing but the truth. And why are you coming out saying all this now? Tracy McGrady, why are you coming out and saying all this now? I can understand a clown like Gilbert Arenas. I mean, this has been his energy since he's been in the league, whatever. Since they've been, well, after basically once he's had a microphone put in front of his face. But these other guys, man, no. And we have to stop this now because we don't want the idiot train getting off the track, getting out of the station. We don't want to get out of the station. We know enough. And that goes back to the reason for the treason, if you will. Klutch Sports, LeBron James, all of his sycophants trying to force something that isn't true down our throats. And we're not going for it. We are not going to allow you to disrespect Kobe Bryant to further your agenda. We don't care who you guys pay. We don't care what you say. None of that. We saw it. We know better. And the ridiculousness that you guys are going to just proves your desperation. King nothing. That's what I call LeBron James. King nothing. Because the man's insecurities and his ineptitude just keep shining through. And for him to have a system in place that is going to great lengths to denigrate other players to exalt him is weak. It's just weak. And people are tired of it. People are tired of him. People are tired of these clowns coming out of the woodwork with these bad takes, these ridiculous takes. Yes, it helps the algorithm. The algorithm, promotes that stuff and puts it out there, and people like myself and whatnot, we discuss it in what have you. But at the end of the day, people are just tired, man. They're tired, and they're not trying to hear this crap. And the fact that you guys want to try to sit up there and disrespect the dead man that's not here to defend himself, lowest of the low. That man's play spoke for itself. You cannot take that away. And to go further, all right, to go further. They love to promote this myth that LeBron has this brilliant basketball mind. However, when you hear him talk basketball, it's like, okay. He'll say things like, now I'm just paraphrasing that. No, he didn't say this, but he'll say things like, okay, well, the big man has to come out and hedge on the pick and roll. And people will act like it's something so profound. No, it's not. Whereas Kobe Bryant actually they were doing a segment years back on ESPN called Details. And Kobe was breaking down things. He was breaking down film, he was breaking down film and scenarios and basically giving showing his basketball knowledge. And it was no pun intended, the dialogue was pregnant with details. And you could listen to Kobe and know that, okay, this cat's basketball mind, his basketball genius is on another level. Then also you have to think about influence. aside from Michael Jordan, in recent memory, and Steph Curry, the guy who came along and had a prominent influence over the basketball world has been Kobe. When you talk to the cats in the NBA draft was just a couple of days ago. Depends on when this video is published. The NBA draft was just a couple of days ago. If you ask, I'm sure they'll be doing lots of interviews with these rookies and things like that and whatnot. Media, all that. We know how the NBA works. If you ask these kids who their favorite player was or is, a large majority of them are going to say KD, Kobe Bryant. Not saying that LeBron hasn't had any impact, he has, but he hasn't had the impact that Kobe had. Guys in the NBA still wear Kobe Bryant sneakers. They still hoop in Kobe Bryant sneakers. They go out of their way to make sure that they got their Kobe's. When's the last time you seen somebody really hooping in LeBron's? Yeah, I know that's minuscule or what have you, but still, I'm talking about impact. All right. Now, to the deadheads, and I'm not talking about fans of the Grateful Dead. I'm talking about people who, the smooth brains, the crayon eaters, who want to try to say things like, "Oh, well, if Kobe Bryant wasn't deceased, nobody would revere him the way that he is revered." Shut up. Stop lying. There are some people who just have that it. Kobe was one of them. Kobe was one of them. You can't take that away from him. And that's why this new campaign of disrespect towards him and his legacy and him and his greatness is so egregious. But again, this is what cowards do. And trust and believe LeBron James, Klutch Sports, and all those who are affiliated with them, they're cowards. That means you too, Dwyane Wade, and you too, Tracy McGrady, and anybody else who comes out talking out the side of their neck about Kobe Bryant. Now, for the record, I'm an MJ guy, but I love Kobe as well. And I respect LeBron James too. So this doesn't come from a bias, from any point of bias or anything like that. Somebody had to tell the truth. Somebody has to tell the truth. The truth has to get out here. Now, of course, lies run around the world quicker than anything, but that's fine. The truth will eventually catch up. And that's all myself and others are trying to do in the face of foolishness. You mean to tell me that Kobe Bryant, who was as skilled and and who had a work ethic like no other, all of a sudden he's not better than a guy who doesn't have even half his skill set and doesn't work as hard. No, there again, because it's sounding as if like I'm trying to be disrespectful to LeBron, and I'm not. But we're going to call a spade here. When you compare the two players, if you watch them, you know that LeBron isn't as skilled as Kobe Bryant was. It's just what it is. It's facts. But all that being said, we're not going for the slander. We're not going for the agenda. You can try that with somebody else. You could try that. You can try that with somebody else. You're still not going to be successful with it. Your man just ain't that guy. All right, he's just not that guy. You could talk about the fact that, oh well, Um, LeBron came right into the league. He was starting, and he was, he was the face of his franchise, and this, that, and the third. Cleveland didn't have nothing when LeBron got there. They had Darius Miles, they had Carlos Boozer, they had Ricky Davis. You know, they they didn't have anything. They didn't have anything. Kobe Bryant came into a situation where he had he was a high school kid. Both of these guys are high school kids. All right. He had Eddie Jones in front of him, who was an NBA All-Star, and he came into an established situation. Okay, the Lakers were a lot better when when Kobe came than Cleveland was when LeBron came. I mean, again, you can go and check this out. LeBron was viewed as the savior. So come hell or high water, Cleveland was going to throw him the keys. LeBron came into the old NBA. No high school kid was just going to come right from high school and just be given the keys to a franchise, especially when that franchise already has one of the game's top 75 players there, i.e. Shaq. But again, we've already discussed that whole Shaq thing. But again, just trying to give some more context here. These folks are trying to make it as if all Kobe Bryant was, just like Michael Jordan. All they were just scorers. They just shot the ball. That's all they did. They just scored a lot of points. They were just chuckers. Man, that's some BS. That's some BS. But I'm going to land my plane there. I thank you for checking out my video. Also, speaking of Michael Jordan, if you want to check out that video that I did, I'm going to place it in the link either here or there. The link the link to that video will be there. Go check that out. I do make videos such as this from time to time. I have a playlist. I'm also going to attach that. I'm also going to attach that somewhere as well. That being said, I do thank you for stopping by and checking out my video. You could be doing anything else, but you decided that you wanted to come through and check me out. I appreciate that. And before I get out of here, I would like to ask that if you feel like my content has provided you some value, please like, share, comment, and most of all, subscribe. It's free, and I'm really trying to grow this thing, and I cannot do it without you. You are the most important component. But yes, definitely get in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts about this situation. I would love to chop it up with you guys, get your opinions. We can debate respectfully, of course. And, we can just have a dialogue. All right. And with that said, I leave you as I always do. There's a lot of people talking, but not everybody is worth listening to. And with that said, 2 fingers equals peace.